I like having clothes that I can both lift in and I can lay around like a corpse after I'm done lifting in. And that is what Fraternity of Girth had in mind when they designed how comfortable these t-shirts are. These are the comfiest shirts for anybody of girth, or like I've said before, like me, if you're girth adjacent, if you just live in the world of girth, you may not be girthy yourself. Hey, they got your size. It's not a problem. I'm wearing an XL Fog of War shirt right now. It's one of my favorites. It's comfy. Like I said, gray shirts automatically more comfortable than any other kind of shirt. The design is rad. I love it. They understand the culture. They understand Highland Games. They understand powerlifting. They understand string sports. They know what we're all about. Fogapparel.com. Use code HEAVYLIGHT. You're going to save some cash. Grab it. Do it. I mean, look, it's official. We got nothing going on. I've said it plenty of times in plenty of different ways, but it is not changing anytime soon for the sport of Highland Games. We're going to talk, look, pretty much what we can talk about practice. We can talk about seasons gone by. We can talk about great thrower stuff from the past, or we can just find random things to bullshit about. And that's probably the direction we're going today. I know you're not shocked by that. But what I did is I put out a call on Instagram because I spent the last weekend. Are there even weekends anymore? I feel like there are not actual weekends. What is it today? Wednesday? Sure. I did a lot of this stuff Monday, Tuesday. That's the fucking weekend. There it is. So the last weekend, I'm sticking with it. I spent kind of pursuing things outside of training and Highland Games, which I think a lot of people are. The boy and I actually went out to the new hunting lease that we have. It's in Concan, Texas, which is just outside Uvalde, which if you're not from that part of Texas, won't mean shit to you. But it's way out there. It's about a 3-hour drive, so the boy and I got some good quality time, sat in the truck, kind of just shot the shit, listened to the Meat Eater podcast with a turkey biologist, a wildlife biologist on it, so that was fun. Learned some cool stuff. Also learned about how scary great horned owls actually are. We have a pet bunny rabbit in the backyard, and I've been warning since the get-go, like, hey, make sure he's locked up around evening time because there's a great horned owl in our neighborhood. I've seen him. I've heard him. Maybe her. I don't know. That's being sexist. I'm sure the ladies are just as fine a hunters as the men. But yeah, I've seen the great horned owl, and I think the bunny would be a delicious treat for him. And even though we got a bigger bunny, it's a lop, I guess somebody told me. I don't know. It's got ears and goes hop hop. It's a big bunny, but these great horned owls they were talking about on the podcast, that they can take out 25-pound turkeys and raccoons and all sorts of larger animals. So we're not going to underestimate them. So yeah, the bunny gets locked up. But yeah, we spent some time listening to that, learning, and then we worked on our turkey calls in the car, which is always hilarious. For an 11-year-old boy, by the way, this kid can turkey call. He's really getting it. He understands the language of the turkeys, and when he gets out in the field, like, he can do it. It's really cool. It's very fun to watch. And we're mouth calling. We're not using the box calls because I don't have any problem using a box call. I even have one. It's just the mouth calls are fun. It's enjoyable. It's fun to me. It's like playing an instrument, and I think I enjoy that part of it. So we went out to the lease. Mainly, we went out there to turkey hunt, sort of in spirit, but we didn't really know the lay of the land or know what it was like out there. We'd never been to this lease yet. We just wanted to kind of go look around. A good way to kind of enjoy social distancing, get the hell away from everybody. And we went out and we checked out the cabin. The cabin was locked. I did not know that there was a key to the cabin until afterwards because there's no cell signal. So the other guys in the lease neglected to tell me that there's a key. You need to get in it. Not a big deal. We had kind of planned to camp in the truck tent anyway. So we got our setup. Set up the truck tent. Got a fire going. I cooked some venison tenderloin and some venison heart, along with some potatoes, and just did them all on a cast iron. The tenderloin, it's hard to really mess it up. So it was good. But the deer heart, it was really cool because I just cooked it in salt, pepper, butter, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of a Big Medicine seasoning. Shout out to Casey No Holds Barred, who runs Tactic Calories. Definitely check that stuff out. But you sprinkle a little on there and then just kind of pan-seared it and then served it to the boy. But I did the trick where you don't tell him what they're eating. So I didn't tell him, and he ate an entire deer's heart. He loved it. He said this is like the best red meat ever. This is so good. It's so good. Didn't even ask. And I said, you want to know what it is? And he gave me the look of like, oh God, it's going to be a weird thing. Because he knows me. He lives with me. He knows how this works. I told him it was deer heart, and he just kind of shrugged and kept eating. So that's a win. And it is delicious. It's like all the really good flavors that you get in red meat, but just like more and more dense. I really love venison heart for that reason. There's a lot of great dishes you can do, but just searing it with butter, salt, and pepper, you really can't go wrong with that either. So that was our dinner. And the next morning, so while we were driving around the lease, we nearly ran over a hen turkey, a big girl too, tall. And so we're like, oh, that's a good sign. And then that morning after, we were thinking like, we're not going to like treat it like a real true turkey hunting day. We're not going to get up pre-dawn and start calling. We're just going to get up and kind of roam around, do a little calling, see if anything answers. And we were awakened by the sound of gobbles from the trees, 3 directions, like probably within 100 yards, 150 yards each of them. So we get all head up, and we get geared up and get everything ready. And then we kind of walk out, and we're listening to the gobbles, trying to get set up on them. We end up setting up 1 or 2 spots, but we don't know the lay of the land that well, and knowing where we can get in and out near the border where we are. So it wasn't ideal, and we didn't get a lot of answers once we set up and started calling. But it's okay. That's a lot of promise being out there and hearing all the gobbling of. Oh, and that as we were gearing up, I saw another hen 40 yards from camp, just walking through the bushes, watching us. So he's out there. So that's exciting. I hope to get out there one more time before turkey season is over. I think it's the first week of May that ends. So the boy and I, though, we spent a little bit more time, and we sighted in the 22 air rifle again because it got a little wonky. So we were just shooting some beer cans, shooting some targets. But I guess the point is like we spent that entire time just kind of pursuing things that are not on our normal, daily schedule of things to accomplish. He's got homeschooling stuff now. It's, the school district is kicked in and they've got assignments for him every week. But, we just kind of shrug that off. We'll get to it later this week. And, I want to lift, I want to train, I want to throw, I want to podcast, I want to jumpstart Throw Bros again. I was about to say remind me to come back to that, but who the fuck's going to remind me? Like I'm sitting in here in a room by myself. So I don't know who's going to remind me, but hey, remind me later to talk about what's going on with Throw Bros. But we spent that time pursuing those things and filling that space because there is no Highland Games right now. There is no throwing for me. There is no, I'm not going to say there's nothing to train for because there's obviously the future. There's me competing again. There's continuing to develop my throws. But, if I can ignore that for a day or two and go pursue the other hobbies, and you kind of have to because there's so many hours in the day to fill right now. There's so many minutes. There's so many moments right now where you don't have your normal structure. And, time, I guess, I don't want to say it fills up with things. It kind of does the opposite. Like time empties out a little bit more because you got, less places you can tell yourself you need to go and less time out of the house. So, yeah, I put out the question to everybody on social media. I asked, like, what are you doing to kind of fill the void? How are you getting your void filled? There it is. What are you doing because Highland Games is obviously a big hobby for a lot of us, and I hope you don't think of it as anything beyond a hobby because it is not. What was that thing that's going around? Like check in on all your string sports friends who use string sports instead of having a personality or something like that. That's all of us. But yeah, don't be that person. But I think a lot of you are pretty, y'all are some interesting cats and chicks out there. And I wanted to see, because work in a lot of ways, for some people, unless you're an essential person, has taken more of a back seat, or it's changed in complexion or in timing at least, and you probably have more time to fill with other pursuits or things that you've been waiting to do or hobbies that you have. And for me, it was all the things I did this last week and were a little bit of that. I've been doing a ton of home improvement projects that I've been needing to do, and I've been spending more time in the outdoors with my kids. Along with, I'm kind of using that to supplement their education because we have more opportunities to do that. So why shouldn't I do that with them? That's the thing I love doing anyway. But I wanted to put it out to y'all, and I got some good response. So let's take a look. If I don't say your name, I apologize. I either I'm flipping through it and don't read it, or I just have your username from Instagram or whatever. But let's see. PJ says, World of Warcraft and woodworking. That's a lot of W's, man. You've also practiced your alliteration, I can see. World of Warcraft. People are playing that, huh? I think I got a Shadow Priest to level 48 or something like that before my time with World of Warcraft was over. And that was way back in that was like 2005 or something like that. I think, I don't remember last time I played, but good on you. I was an Ultima Online guy way back when. Aaron and I were both Ultima Online players. And then we played on emulated shards. God, talk about some nerd shit. Let's do it. Hey, they had kilts in Ultima Online. I think that was one of the wardrobe options that Aaron always managed to create because he always created tailors and craftsmen, and he just wanted to have like a normal job in Ultima Online. It was kind of weird. His life, his early like 20s life, mid 20s life was like a rock star life. He was a bar owner and stuff, and then in Ultima Online, he would just like open like a tailor shop or like an alchemist. He would always just like run a very boring business and have like a craft. I think his big dream was to be a fisherman in those games. And honestly, I think he was ahead of his time. So yeah, World of Warcraft woodworking. A lot of woodworking here, man, too. It's mostly just like scrap woodworking, like building functional things, nothing pretty. You seem like a guy that's probably got some talent and can actually build some stuff, PJ. So yeah, post some of that. Post what you're doing, man. And let's see, Kilted Sullivan says, whittling and drawing, more woodworking. Whittling is something that I've never really gotten down to, and I think I eventually will. Like, as I get smaller and smaller pieces of scrap wood, I'll have nothing left as I finish all my scrap. That's really all my woodworking projects have been, is just finishing out scrap. Like, trying to get through the scrap pile, basically, and make something out of all of it. So far, so good. But yeah, once I get small enough pieces, I'll do what you're doing, Sullivan, and make a spoon. And a month-long challenge, respectively. A whittling month-long challenge. I wonder what that looks like. Let's see. Kilted Gorilla. That's Jeremy Futrell, heavy light athlete. Memes is what he's doing in his time. So there you go. There's a lot less Highland Games memes going around now. So better find a new source, man. Keep working. You got to find that new. You got to find that new lifeline somewhere. Find another ridiculous hobby. Maybe maybe whittling memes. Maybe you can make woodworking and whittling memes. Guaca Flocka Flame says, nonstop home improvement projects. Yeah, big up on that, homie. That's a lot of that stuff. I've built closet shelves, wardrobes, what else have we done? There's been a ton of different built-in shelves, outdoor workbench, firewood cradle, gardening, lawn care. We planted a bunch of seeds. It's been a lot, man. Same. I mean, why not? You live here. This is the place where we always want to do these home improvement projects. And like, it'd be great if it were this, and then you run out of time. But now there's time at home to do them. So yeah, make the place you want to live. There you go. Let's see. Masturbation, mostly with a side of self-hate. That's nothing new to quarantine. Making repairs for our camper when we can. Professional dependent says that. Dude, so my Icelandic American buddy Thor Gilfison is also doing that. He's fixing up his camper, and I'm mad jealous because I just went out to the lease, and I'm sleeping in a truck tent. And some of the other guys out on the lease, they have RVs. And no campers, but like serious RVs. But I would be happy with just a camper, man. Just throw it in the back of the truck, take it out there. That'd be so cool. So big up to you guys doing that because I'm mad jealous of fixing up a camper. Those are fun. Novak Strink says, former heavy light athlete, a lot of fishing and just started learning up on speed development, training, and coaching. Hey, good on you, man. I've been doing more fishing too. Trying to get a little better with the fly, fly rod. Started learning up on speed development, training, coaching. That's awesome, man. That's, I'm well versed enough in the idea of how to develop power in athletes and speed that's specific to the sports that I've done or that I currently do. But in terms of like developing a good 40 time, I'm always in awe of guys that can train that stuff up. Developing like good off the line speed and good sprint speed and that kind of explosiveness. I think that's really cool stuff. So yeah, and honestly, that'll do nothing but help you as a thrower or Highland Games athlete is to have a better knowledge of that stuff because you can kind of tailor your training that way. Anything that I've ever learned about it, I'm able to put some of it to use. And look, if you don't have anything left to do for explosive work, you don't have a lot of time, do what I do what Tom Soroka does, do what a lot of other athletes do. Just go sprint a bunch of times till you're worn out. And you'll get more explosive and you'll get a lot of work done for your body. And change your body composition too if you need that. It's really good. Sprint and squat. Nothing wrong with those things. Let's see. Mason Lift says, my professors have doubled workload. Oh, good. How sensitive of them. And guitar for the first time in 7 years. Yeah, rad, man. That's cool. I've really kind of gone back into the workshop with playing guitar and being a musician and recording music. I am part of a Facebook group called the Song a Week Challenge, and it's my buddy Chris Alonzo from high school, who's a fantastic musician and playwright and creative, just a creative force basically. And he started this group kind of as a small thing amongst us to be like, hey, if you want to do a challenge, if you want to do a cover song or if you want to write a song and put it out there, if you're like in it to do it once a week, go for it. And some of us kind of went for it for a while, but it's really hard to do a song a week. Good, amazing the people that have that kind of output. But they have a cover challenge going right now, quarantine cover challenge, where they're putting covers out there. And I did a country folk interpretation of Voices Carry by Till Tuesday. And I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. And it's fun because instead of me like obsessing over something recorded and sounding right and being exactly how I want it and arranged it, you got to turn it around fast because the only way to claim a song is to record it. That's it. That's all you can do. So I just turned it around a few hours and did this version. I was a fan of it. But yeah, I'm with you, man. It's a good time to like refocus on the skill of guitar. And I've really, for the past few months, I've kind of been doing it. But this has been great for me to try to put the new guitar work and the new skills that I have kind of into practice, into play when I'm actually performing and writing songs and doing cover versions and actually, singing and playing too. So yeah, man, I'm with you. Like the craft of guitar, it's a never ending one. It is a fun one. It's been fun teaching my kids stuff too. They've enjoyed that. Nathan Shops Bailey, internet superstar Shops Bailey says, I'm going to build a tree house out of scavenged neighborhood materials. That is my jam right there. If I had enough scrap materials, we probably have 2 tree houses by now. But the kids already have a playhouse in the back, so I'm not in a hurry on that one. But I do dig it, man. I like that a lot. Let's see. Strongman Stan says building a garden, clearing trees, creating YouTube content. Yeah, his YouTube channel, Hamish McLeod. He's creating content there. That's something I should do more of. Have not. YouTube doesn't get the attention that it used to, but you can still find episodes of this podcast there, so that's cool. You can find the drill library there, so I consider that cool as well because I made it. It's just, the drill library grew out of a need that I had as a coach when I'm telling my athletes all these different movements and drills that I want them to do. Instead of having to describe it each and every, it's a time saver basically, a time and time is money kind of thing. Like I heard it put best with like an online coaching thing. Every time you repeat something, you're losing money. And so recording these videos showing like, hey, here's a line drill. Like here's a toes to board. Here's what I mean by this. Just having that in reference and being able to link it in the training that they have has been really useful. So I need to do some more on that. I still have a lot of weight for distance content to do on that one. And stones, I still have a lot of stone content to do on that one too. So, but yeah, man, building a garden's been a part 2. Clearing trees, we got to do that here. We've got a couple of stupid oak trees that are just, they can't get out of their own way, and they're causing danger to roofs, and they just shed all these shitty oak leaves everywhere. Nobody likes them. So, and they're the ones that like grow under the other big trees. Hey, talk more about trees on a Highland Games podcast. Well, you know what? Hey, these are future cavers, right? That's the way to look at it. Actually, they're not, because they're live oaks and they're all twisty and shitty. Let's see, Strength Empire Jim, Justin Blatnick, somebody that I use very commonly actually because he did a good video of Dan McKim's 1-2 drill. I love that Dan McKim did the video, but I do like the way that Justin goes into depth on it, so I tend to link that to my athletes. But yeah, look up his Strength Empire YouTube channel. But building renovation work for my baby brother. His baby brother is professional or soon to be professional Highland Games athlete, Garrett Blatnick, and also heavy light athlete. And I think it's hilarious that you call him the 300-pound elite total power lifter, your baby brother. He is younger than you, so I guess you get to call him that. That's cool. And then Justin also says that he's eating pizza. I guess that makes sense. I mean, if there's things you could be doing with your time, eating pizza and building stuff should be on it. Jeff Martin Bohunt, kettlebell addiction. Yeah, I can get it, man. That's when I started outlining my training late last year. I had actually thought about doing more kettlebell and mace work, more like odd implement kind of work, and but not stone lifting. Side note, all y'all out there that do stone lifting, kudos to you guys. It's hard as shit, and it really is technical, and it requires a lot of strength to do it. I'm not into it, man. It does not call to me like some of the other sports. I mean, because you have to be strong, and I'm not strong. Maybe that's what it is. But it just doesn't call to me the same way. But, it's cool that you guys are into it. I love that you guys are doing that kind of stuff. Just doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I plan to do a lot more. Maybe I'll get back into that after I get through with this kind of conjugate thing that I'm working on right now. But I really did want to do more mace and more kettlebell and kind of get some of that stuff into there because it's just fun and it's a good way to break up the monotony of training while still you can actually get a pretty sweet pump with those things. So, yeah. Jason Spraggins says, painting, loose term. What do you mean, man? Like, whenever you say painting, you got to designate, do you mean like painting pictures or painting houses? Because there's not like a loose term for painting houses, unless you're like, I don't know, using something that's not paint. If you're painting houses in pig's blood, then yes, I could say that's a loosely defined as painting. But I mean, I would imagine you're trying to paint pictures. You're a creative dude, so I could totally see that. But I'd love to see what your loose definition of painting is. I mean, I'm guessing you're not Bob Ross in it. So, you're just going freehand, you're trying. I don't know. Post something, man. Tim Fridsma, Getting back into road cycling after 4 years away. Whoo, man, you and Matt Benson, right? So that is another thing. Like, if you're from the suburbs like I am, and you're just a regular suburbs dude, you're almost like supposed to be into bikes. Or my next door neighbor is huge into mountain biking. Like, he's got the surgeries to prove it and everything. But he knows a lot, and I know nothing. Like, I know just enough to keep my kids' bikes working most of the time, but a lot of times I have to like just kind of take the broken bike out to in front of his house and hope that he sees it and comes out so he can help me. So I'll just work on it in his driveway, and then eventually he can't stand it. But I just don't know much about cycling. I've never gotten that far into it. Again, it's another thing, mad respect for. It takes a ton of endurance to do road biking, to do mountain biking, all that kind of stuff. It does not call to me. I guess I'm a different kind of suburban hobbyist. I guess I'm more of like hunter outdoorsman kind of person than I am like cyclist and runner and triathlete. Cause there's definitely a breed. You know, I'm not a golf dad for sure. Fucking suck at that game. I've only got room for one Scottish sport in my life, guys. I'm sorry. But I don't know. Good on you, man. It's hard as hell. And that's probably why I don't do it. Cause it requires like dedication and endurance and things that I just don't have. College, like I am Sean 035 says college classes and GTA 5. Yeah, man, I remember those days. I was in and out of college before online classes and online college. I did a good portion of my MBA. It was a split like online. They had like a campus in the city and everything. But like there was a good online portion as well. But yeah, my main college years were it was old fashioned, man, always in class, not a lot of online component besides like what they emailed. Like each professor would have like their own standalone page. I mean, like Angel Fire or some shit. And it was like it was pretty low tech, all things considered. But GTA 5, I don't think I've played GTA 5. I think GTA 4 was the last one that I played. I don't play a lot of video games anymore. And that I don't get all uppity about because I wish I did. I wish I played more video games, but I just don't. I started Red Dead Redemption 2 and never got past like the stage where you get to the first like big encampment and you have to go like hunt and make money. Or do whatever and make money. And I realized all I wanted to do was just go hunt in the game. So I was like, why don't I just buy a hunting simulator instead? But maybe one day I'll get back. Hey Beach, keep up the good work. Hey, thanks, man. I can't see your username because I'm an idiot that saved that wrong, but thank you. Man on Maple says surviving 3 children. Yeah. Under 5. Ooh, 3 children under 5. Dude. God, stay off her for a year, dude. 3 children under 5? Good God. I got one that's 3. And that's a lot, man. She's awesome, but she is a 3-year-old. 7 and 11-year-old they're on their own. They get at the end of the rope with her too. And they're kids too. But I mean, look, if she's a good 3-year-old, but she's still a 3-year-old. Whew, 3 under 5. Going steadily insane. That's most of the time. Learning to... What does your actual comment say there? I'm going to pull it up. I have these all screen captured because I knew I'd probably forget about them at some point. So let's see if I can figure out what you actually said. And if there's any new ones too. And that was Blindcast that said, keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Let's see. Man on Maple. Going 5... Learning to code after. That's what you said. Oh, dude, learning to code. So I know some front end stuff just because I worked as a web designer. That's kind of how I got into the whole Hate Brand Goods thing. Helping build a site for Matt, and that just kind of grew from there. But I was a freelancer for a good while, making websites for businesses and whatnot. And then HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. But yeah, learn to code. That is never going to... That's one of those skills where in today's world, you're never going to be like, oh man, I wish I didn't know this. It's like getting strong. It's like, oh man, I wish I wasn't so strong. Like nobody really thinks that. So yeah, good on you, man. Learn to code. Get that shit. Somebody's got to build the shit out there that idiots like me use to promote their podcast. So good. Also, it just reminded me. Did you guys know that I built Robert Oberst website way back when? I think it's still up there, teamoberst.com. Go check it out. I don't remember what I even did. It was super basic, and it was really just kind of, it was a low rent bill because he just started getting some notoriety as a strongman, and he put out that book, Creating a Monster, which I did not ghostwrite. I'm kidding, Rob. No, Rob wrote a training book, and he very openly, very nicely asked for if I had any input on or how to format it, and I did. And we worked together to get it out there. So, and then he just needed like basically a place where people could like contact him, and then a Instagram feed or something like that. So I think that's still out there. That was one of my early strength sports projects. That was just because I was working on Matt's stuff, and he and Matt knew each other. So good. I'm still gonna say that I ghost wrote Robert's book. I'm going to say that he learned everything he knows about strength training from me in those ghostwriting sessions where we sat in the dark room together and he just spewed out his ideas and I wrote them. That's what I'm going to say. It's not true, but that's what I'm going to say. And then let's see, who's the last person? Downtown Eddie Brown, longboarding. That's such an Eddie Brown answer. Also, I replied back to him, more like dongboarding. More like dongboarding. Apropos of nothing, let's talk about Sport Kilt. I've talked a lot about Sport Kilt the last couple of weeks. Sport Kilt is doing a very, very rad thing that I've talked a lot about. They turned their kilt making facilities over to making face masks. They made them for the first responders in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they put them out for sale for the general public at a really affordable price for the quality of material that you're getting. These are not disposable masks. These are good quality tartan pattern cloth masks that have an insert pocket for whatever kind of filtration you want to put in there. It's made out of good materials. It's made by good people. So if you need a kilt, obviously go to sportkilt.com and get a kilt. I don't know where the hell else you would go if you wanted the best possible kilt. If you need socks, go there. If you need a t-shirt, go there. If you need a sporran, go there. Hey, you getting the idea? If you do things in kilts, go to sportkilt.com. You can also grab a face mask, grab a handful of them, grab them for people at your work, grab them for friends, grab them for family. Stay safe out there. Use SportKilt to do so. Any of those things, go to sportkilt.com and use code HEAVYLIGHT, all one word. You're going to save 10%. I love those guys, and I'm very, very proud to have them as a sponsor. Now, since we are in the just bullshitting phase, I didn't have a lot to talk about after that. I didn't have a lot to deal with, but I am going to talk about something that Throw Bros is doing. Obviously, the end of the podcast, you hear me talk about Throw Bros every time. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Throw Bros. So Throw Bros, because of the weirdness, the weird situation we're in, I just put a post out today. I've spent my morning painting sheaves and getting them boxed up and getting everything ready. So we got a new shipment of 16-pound and 10-pound sheaves, and 20 pounds are coming. But I put them up for sale. We've put them up available now. We also have a brand new shipment of sheaf forks that are available now. So they're in the short supply. They're in stock. But what we have decided to do is after that short supply, after that limited run is depleted, we're going to leave them up for pre-sale. We're going to leave these up so you can pre-order one, and it'll say so on the website. We'll make sure it says like pre-order when the initial inventory is exhausted. But we'll put them up for pre-order. And then if you will just be patient with us and allow that, it's going to take probably a couple or few weeks to get those fulfilled, get them made. We're doing this because we know you guys are training at home. We know that you guys don't have access to the throwing fields, facilities, throwing groups, everything you've been. And sheaf is one of these things that you can walk outside in your driveway and practice. You can just walk right outside as long as you get enough height and clearance and you're not going to smash anybody or their car. Shout out to Matt Hand. You're going to have the ability to practice that. So we want to make this stuff available to you. It'll just make, after that first run is kind of depleted, it's going to take a little patience on y'all's part, but we do appreciate that. We try to have these things in stock as much as possible. It's just hard. There's a lot of athletes out there, and we count on real crafters to make this stuff. We don't put it in the hands of anybody that doesn't understand Highland Games and understand how the equipment works. So this stuff is all made by hand. This is all made the real deal, real materials, quality materials that you're used to getting at games. And it's made by, real people that are in the game. So we want to give them, we appreciate your patience and them getting them done, but we also want to keep these up for sale, even when they're not ready, because we want to keep the cash flowing to these crafters. They count on this as supplemental income. So we want to keep that flowing to them and fulfill the demand that you guys have out there. It's the little thing we can do. It's a logistical nightmare for Aaron and I, but we're happy to do it, because it gives people a chance to know that they've got their equipment secured and they're going to get good quality stuff sent to them. So I love you guys. I love how much you have supported Throw Bros over the years and everything that you have done for us and everything you've done to support us. So it's the least we can do. I hope we can find a way to do more and more during this trying time. But yeah, that's a big deal for us. So we're super happy about that. So go to throwbros.com. If you use code HEAVYLIGHT, just like you do all the time, you're going to save 10% on that kind of stuff. Or I would prefer, if you're going to use a discount code, go use one of our sponsored athlete codes. They work their ass off promoting us, and they're the real deal. These are people who live and breathe it. They train just like you. They work hard just like you. They compete their ass off on the weekends way back when we used to be able to. They do that too, and they take extra time to promote us and support our brand. So go on Instagram, find those people, find our sponsored athletes, and use their code instead of mine, because I don't know, they have cooler codes than I do. They're more clever. Mine's just the name of my podcast. All right, that's all I got for today. I got kids running around. We got stuff to do. Got to start making dinner. Probably going to make chicken thighs. Lemon pepper chicken thighs. That sounds like a winner tonight. Heavy Light is brought to you by Throw Bros. Throw Bros is the only online store for Highland Games athletes. Gear up, get throwing. Use code HEAVYLIGHT, all one word. You're going to save 10% at throwbros.com.